advocate for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
On Plus TV News now, Air Peace postpones evacuation flight from Poland to Nigeria. Former ICC chief Fatou Bensouda to lead probe into atrocities in Ethiopia. President Vladimir Putin says Russian operations in Ukraine is going according to plan. Good evening and thanks for joining us. This is News Now and I'm Laura Tachiogo. An Air Peace charter flight scheduled to evacuate Nigerians fleeing Ukraine from Poland has been postponed. According to a Ministry of Foreign Affairs official, Bolaji Akinremi, the flight was postponed due to a delay in preparing passengers for the check-in process. The flight has now been scheduled for Friday morning. Meanwhile, some of the stranded Nigerians are worried about why the government seems to be delaying in its evacuation plan, as some of their foreign counterparts have been evacuated. Joining us now at this time is Ahmed Olaliko, a Nigerian living in Ukraine, who is currently seeking refuge in Budapest, Hungary's capital. Ahmed, thanks for joining us on News Now.
You're welcome, ma'am.
We've just heard that there's a postponement of the evacuation flights from Poland. I know you're in Budapest and there's been plan to evacuate Nigerians who have fled into Budapest as well. But how does this postponement come to you?
The postponement come to me not really happy what's going on between the crisis going on between Ukraine and Russia, because it's been very stressful for us traveling from one city to another city, and we've not been able to have our exam because we're having exam very soon in school.
All right. You are now in Budapest, Hungary, and we do understand that the journey from Ukraine to the different locations where people have now fled into for safety, the journey has been harrowing. Do you mind telling us how you scaled through out of Ukraine?
Yeah, I stay in Kharkiv. So getting out from Kharkiv has been very stressful. It's been up to 4 days for me getting to Hungary, because from Kharkiv, so we need to board a train. From Kharkiv to board a train going to Lviv, and it's up to like 31 hours, because actually it was a nice move. So on getting to Lviv, up to like 31 hours, so we got to Lviv in the midnight at 2 a.m. So was planning to go over to Poland, but Poland, they didn't allow Africans to come over to Poland anymore, because people have been in Poland, but they're up to like 3 to 4 days. So we're trying to get over to Poland, then we go on queue to enter the train going to Poland, but the police in Ukraine and the army, the soldiers, they didn't allow Africans. They said the woman has to go first and the people who have a baby. So it has been very stressful. So I and my friend decided, okay, we should go over to Hungary. So from Hungary, from Hungary, so we bought another train from Lviv going to Chop. So from Chop, and I getting to Chop from Lviv to Chop, it was like 4 to 5 hours journey. So on our way getting to Chop, so we bought another train going to Zaune, which is Hungary border. So on our way getting to Zaune, so we were highly welcome, accommodation, they bring out food to the Africans, we enjoy each other. So so when we get to Zaune, which is Hungary border, so we stayed there for like 2 hours for us to rest, walk around the city. So after we rest like 2 hours, because we got to Zaune, I think the time we got to Zaune was late in the midnight, which is after 12. So after we waited for like 2 hours, we waiting free accommodation. So the Hungary government bring out a train going to their city, which is Budapest. So after 2 a.m., which is Hungary time, so we put another train going to Budapest. So now we get into Budapest. So we get to Budapest very early in the morning. So when we get to Budapest, so there was free accommodation. They welcome every African, even Ukrainian citizen, we were welcome. So now we get into Budapest, we are early welcome. So there were even accommodation for students, and everywhere is good.
All right, that's great news that you got free accommodation in Budapest, and that was prepared by the Hungary government, right? If I'm right.
Yeah, it was prepared by the Hungary government.
So what were the support you got from the Nigerian government in Ukraine, from the embassy? Were there any support for you for all of the moves you made till you got to Budapest in Hungary?
I don't think maybe there is any Nigerian government who support the accommodation and every other stuff, because I don't see anything about Nigeria over there. Because even at Budapest, their city, even their citizens bought out their food, their wear, maybe things they don't wear anymore, even money. So
are you saying that the embassy in Ukraine, the Nigerian embassy in Ukraine, was not of much assistance to stranded Nigerians over there to get out of the war-torn region?
Yes, ma. No assistance from any Nigerian government, ma. Because now we get into Hungary. So the only way they assist us it was the Hungary government, and they gave us accommodation for every student to stay over there for now.
So what's your next line of action? What are you planning to do? Do you have...
my plan is that I can't wait for Ukraine to get better and settle the crisis going on between Ukraine and Russia. So after settling the crisis between Ukraine and Russia, I would like to go back to Ukraine for my study.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Thank you for joining us on News Now. We'll keep tabs with you and hope you're really safe there in Budapest.
I'm very safe, man.
Best of all. Thank you. We do understand that news coming to us now says that Nigerians are trapped in Sunni Ukraine. Nigerians are trapped in Sunni Ukraine. The government would be hearing this. Nigerians are trapped in Sunni Ukraine and would need government's help.
As bad fuel into Nigeria has caused more pain and untold hardship on the citizens. As the long queues continue, black marketer operators are having a field day as they saturate the stations to buy petroleum products. Some individuals in the queue lament waiting up to 6 hours to get fuel.
We started experiencing it when the bad fuel came, which was withdrawn. And withdrawing that also would deplete whatever we should have had. But the only problem I have is that the 1.2 billion liters that NNPC said is coming, whether it has arrived, or is in stock, that is what we don't know now.
If you check the time now, this is past 3. That means I've been here for over 6 hours just because I want to get to fuel. Government pass me, they do what they're supposed to do. They know what to do and they ought to do it. So now their job is that. Now why they be selective officials?
I don't know what to tell the government because we have cried enough. Haven't they seen? Have they not heard? Can they see it? Do we have to cry again? What else do we cry? We have cried enough.
While some accuse the president, who doubles as the Minister of Petroleum, of abandoning the citizens in these difficult times, others complain that fuel attendants demand bribe before dispensing.
First of all, I even went there to see what was going on. As I met them in the office and said, last month, they said, I should ask Nigeria they do. I said, who should Nigeria they do? They said, I should give them money, they will pass me enter. I said, like, I'm on. They said, okay, I should give them 1,500.
Well, they said in Cape, but they collect 1,000 naira for Cape to 5 liters.
Who are those collecting the money?
The attendants in the fuel station. So that's people are getting here. Even the last month, where they're supposed to address the situation, they are passing people that give them money. So I taking it worse here.
The NNPC Group Managing Director, Malam Kiari, has, however, apologized to Nigerians for the pains experienced at fuel stations, appealing to consumers to only buy the quantity they needed, and noting that there was no plan to increase the pump price, as speculated by many. Destiny Mama, Plus TV News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has filed an 8-count charge against the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari and 6 others, accusing them of, among others, dealing in 17.55 kilograms of cocaine. Named with Kyari in the charge filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja, ACP Sunday Ubua, ASP Bawa James, Inspector Simon Agriba, Inspector John Nuhu, Chihuma Umebe, and Emeka Ezenwani. Meanwhile, Nigeria has approved the request by the United States for the extradition of suspended DCP Abba Kyari, who is to stand trial for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and identity theft. A grand jury had on 29th of April 2022 filed an indictment against Kyari with the approval of the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, accusing Kyari of conspiring with a United Arab Emirates-based Nigerian Ramon Abbas, a.k.a. Hush Puppy, to commit the crime. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, had on Tuesday filed an application before the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja for Kyari's extradition, stating that he was satisfied that provision has been made by the laws of the U.S., such that as long as Kyari has not had a reasonable opportunity of returning to Nigeria, he will not be detained or tried for any offense committed before his surrender, other than the extradition offense, which could be proved by the fact on which his surrender is sought. An Osun State High Court has remanded in a correctional facility the owner of Hilton Royal Hotel Ile-Ife, Ramon Adedoyin, and 6 others arrested in connection with the death of a master's degree student of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Timothy Adegoke. Adedoyin and his alleged accomplices had appeared before the court on 11 counts bordering on murder, indecent interference with a dead body, administration of extrajudicial oath, and alteration to conceal evidence. All the defendants pleaded not guilty, and counsels representing them moved applications for bail for the first to 6th defendants. However, the prosecutor opposed the bail applications.
Insofar as there's presumption of innocence accorded the defendants by the Constitution, that the court should admit them to bail. The prosecution did not testify to the effect that the defendants were hale and hearty. There is patent admission to the effect that all of them arraigned today are suffering from one debilitating ailment or the other, and to which there are reports, medical reports from government certified hospital. And that is one requirement placed on ground by the law in Nigeria for granting bail.
As the one-month warning strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, enters its third week, students may have to wait longer to return to class. Plus TV News correspondent Paul George was at the University of Lagos, UNILAG, where he spoke to students who were still on campus. The students have called for an end to the impasse between the federal government and ASU for the sake of their future. The report.
Activities inside the University of Lagos were scanty as academic activities are still grounded, and evidence are locked up lecture halls. Students gather in groups, perhaps discussing what the future holds for them as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, continues its one-month-long strike, which has entered its third week.
The thing is, most of us just resumed because UNILAG merged two sets together. And most of us, like me, mass communication, I'm meant to spend 4 years in school. But because of this strike, I might be spending like 5 years. I hope it's not up to 5 years. So I feel the government should just do the needful.
I got admitted to UNILAG 2016-17 session. And right now, this is 2022, I'm still here. Should have been done last year, October. That was the estimated time for me to finish. But here I am, still here. I feel like ASU is not asking for too much. 1.3 trillion is not even enough to fund education, really. But just to start. So ASU is not really asking for too much. The government should just, do what is necessary as a government.
Since I just got in, I've not really had any experience with it. But for other students, I feel it's a setback for them. I mean, their mates, they would have gone forward in school. They would have progressed a lot. But this ASU strike is a setback.
At Julius Berger Hall, members of ASU UNILAG chapter meet with the chairman, Dele Ashiru, from the praying eyes of the media. After the meeting, Ashiru insists that the union will not shift ground except the federal government accedes to the union's demands. He speaks alongside another member of the union.
ASU don't take money from government, and ASU don't receive money from government. So we don't know what he meant by giving money to ASU. Well, this meeting is to sensitize our members about the strike, encourage them to remain resolute as long as government is unwilling to accede to our demands.
Because he has all the details. But what I do know is that these monies they are quoting as being given to ASU were not given to ASU members. They were for the university, to the university management, to use to improve the facilities on campus.
While no one knows when the impasse between the federal government and ASU will be resolved, the worst hit in all of this are the students as their academic future hangs in the balance. Paul George, Plus TV News.
In the same breath, tertiary institution students in Ondo State, under the auspices of the National Association of University Students, NAUS, blocked the busy Ibadan-Akure-Abuja highway in a protest over the ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The blockade hampered free flow of vehicle movement as many heavy-duty trucks and buses going to and from Abuja, Lagos or Benin were stranded. Motorists traveling to nearby communities along the highway resorted to taking untarred alternative routes.
The ASU strike has caused a lot of damage to Nigerian students at large. And on this note, we see that we can't fold our hand anymore. So we have to come to the streets and demonstrate. So far, they don't want us to stay in our campuses. Then we decided to occupy the streets. It will take as long as the federal government adheres to our request that they should end ASU strike, because this ASU strike of 18 has been an annual festival and which has been depriving the students from having access to quality and good education. We still want to go to school.
We go to school in the conditions that are not favorable to us, but we still want to go to school. All we are asking for is that we want to go to school. Is that too much to ask from the federal government?
It's not too much.
But upon this, we are paying for this. We are paying for education. Imagine state schools that are paying 300,000, 200,000, 250,000 are still also at home because of ASU strike. It is getting out of hand, and that is why we, the Nigerian students in Ondo State today, we decided to come out to tell the federal government we are not happy.
I see that Nigerian students are tired already, and this is a pressing issue that we need to look into. I said it earlier that we must put an end to this ASU strike because it has become a tradition. Yes. Yearly, day in, day out, they strike every day.
2019, 2020.
And for the past, if you have to check our record now, it's more than 28 times that ASU has been going on strike. And they are fighting the same cause, and there's no solution still. So going for a strike is not the solution anymore. You know, they are just joking with our own calendar and all of things. We have a lot of people that should have graduated for the past 4 years course has turned to 7 years course.
The House of Representatives has thrown out a bill seeking to regulate studies for wards and children of Nigerian public office holders. Sponsor of the bill, Sergio Sogun, said the bill, if passed into law, would strengthen the indigenous institutions, provide efficient service for national development, amongst other things. The report.
The current state of education in Nigeria has remained a matter of concern as it has consistently ranked low in world rankings. Major among many issues is the incessant strikes by university lecturers, which have been one of the reasons for the mass exodus of Nigerians overseas for studies. When this happens, wards and children of the elites usually take the lead, while children of ordinary Nigerians wait for the strikes to be over, no matter how long it takes.
Most of these foreign students are children, ward of public servants and political office holders who ostensibly cut away public funds to a private use. For private use, it is against this background that this bill is proposed to regulate this trend and position our educational system for global competitiveness.
The bill meets with stiff resistance, starting from the Deputy Minority Leader, Toby Okechukwu, who says there is no proof that regulating international studies will improve standard of education in Nigeria.
Is it likely that children schooling overseas is the reason why our educational institutions are not working effectively? We must make a distinction between hiring competent people who should man offices, who should be responsible, who are acting based on knowledge, as against legislating for things that may not in a real sense cure the problem.
It's not maybe because we are public officers, we not see as children schooling abroad. Some have the means, apart from being in government. So if you say, because I'm now a member of House of Rep, I should go and withdraw my children from where they are schooling. And our institution here, as he has said, is not in order.
I can't be discriminated because, or my children be discriminated because I'm in position of authority. That is the issue. They have a right, to be able to be educated anywhere in the world. May further, this bill in section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic offends it very strongly, except you amend this section. Then you can be able to say you are bringing this kind of bill to the floor of the National Assembly.
In his response, the Deputy Speaker says the House cannot be blackmailed.
Our language in the floor matters, and we should not be blackmailed, and there shouldn't be blackmail. No, it's the last word you use. Please, those in favor that the bill be executed say aye. Against say nay. The nays have it.
This is not the first time this bill has been presented during plenary, but each time it comes up, it is stopped. It is believed that investment in the education sector needs to become much more efficient, requiring government at all levels to prioritize the sector, since it is considered as key to economic prosperity.
The Study UK Alumni Awards for 2021-2022 has recognized and celebrated the benefits of studying at a UK university and the privilege it has on individuals, their community and country. All alumni would also be integrated into the global alumni body. This comes with additional national level awarding ceremonies to be held in 23 countries. Plus TV News correspondent Jacinta Obioko has more.
It was an evening of celebration of the achievements of outstanding international alumni who have studied at the UK universities in the past 15 years. It was the 8th year of the prestigious awards, but the 3rd edition to be celebrated in Nigeria. These are the 12 finalists in Nigeria out of 1,500 applications received from alumni in more than 100 countries. That's representing alumni from around 80% of all UK higher education institutions. There are categories of Science and Sustainability Awards, Culture and Creative Awards, Social Action Awards, also Business and Innovation Awards.
These individuals, essentially represent our country's greatest assets, because when you talk about what's most valuable, our most valuable assets here in Nigeria, and it's our people, it's our youth, and not the oil.
Next is the presentation of certificates and then awards presentation to the winners.
And the winner in this category is Oluwafemi Adiola Adedigbe.
The winners who expressed their joy shared some of their achievements so far.
I'm an advocate of student education, and I take pride in developing students wherever I find myself as a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics ambassador. It's not just enough for us to fold our arms and see our kids not doing well in school, or to blame the system. It's for us to think inwards on what we can do to improve the system.
This award feels like a well-deserved recognition for the impact I've been able to make with the CP community, which is a platform that supports international students in the UK with the right information, resources, and a supportive community.
It was my studies in the UK, especially the environment created by the University of Southampton, that showed me how powerful entrepreneurship could be.
If you see something in your community, if you see a need, if you see a problem that you're concerned about, don't wait for all the stars to align. Don't wait for the conditions to be perfect. Don't wait until you have all the credentials.
British Deputy High Commissioner and Country Director, British Council Nigeria, believes Study UK has great impact in developing Nigeria.
I'm just so proud, really, of all of the winners, and not just what they've done in gaining an international education in the UK and some of the most prestigious, most excellent universities in the world, but also, as you say, the impact they've had and are having on return, and in terms of growing jobs, in terms of their social action.
We know there's so much talent in Nigeria, but to recognise the talent, but to recognise it because the talent has studied in the UK, they've made connections, they've expanded their skills and experience, their academic credentials, but then they come back to Nigeria to make a difference, which is what it's all about, really.
The 4 global winners will be invited to the UK for a professional networking visit to build their networks and boost their careers.
In honor of Women's History Month, the U.S. Consulate General has urged media outlets in Nigeria to reject interviews and panels that feature only men. Female journalists gathered at the American Corner in Lagos to share their experiences and challenges in order to canvass ways to encourage and involve more women in journalism.
Here in this hall is the gathering of renowned journalists from different media outlets in Nigeria. Public Affairs Officer, U.S. Consulate General Lagos, Stephen Ibili, stated that the U.S. government believes there is great role the media plays in maintaining democracy with women's involvement and participation.
And we believe women should be at the forefront as journalists, managing directors, and owners. The unfortunate reality is that despite the gains recorded over the years globally in terms of gender parity, women journalists still face challenges, whether it's unfair assignments, harassment, or issues with personal safety.
The distinguished panelists discussed how they successfully navigate their careers.
It also had its advantages for me being the only woman at the time. But I think it's a huge failure on my part and a huge failure on the part of the people who head the sports industry that in 2022 we're still talking about Chisom being one of the few. It needs to change. So it's more pressure on me to now begin to see that there's no success for me if I look behind and I haven't dragged enough people.
I actually remember my mom calling me that day and saying, if you don't leave the Lekki toll gate, I'm going to disown you. So it was a very interesting place to be because now this is my mom, my family, someone I care about, and my job. So it was a very interesting place to be, and like you say, as a woman, even more so because people just assume that we can't handle ourselves in certain kind of situations.
The panelists pointed ways some of the challenges journalists face can be controlled.
Button on Twitter for me is a mute button. It's amazing. You don't even have to engage with them. You don't see their comments. You don't, but you see it initially and after you mute them, But it is harmful, and I have to take social media breaks. So if you're experiencing that, please take breaks.
Media executives should know that it is not luxury. It's a priority. It's a need, to make counseling, therapy to be available.
About the upcoming 2023 general elections, Ibeli believes it's time to take the bull by the horn by creating more space for women.
When convening political debates, it is our fervent wish that media houses will say no to interview panels that feature only men and include women subject matter experts as well.
They also encourage the mass communication students in the hall to be focused as they pursue a career for themselves in journalism. Jacinta Ubiuku, PlusTV News.
Since its establishment over 40 years ago, the Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce has not derailed from its role of encouraging and promoting mutually beneficial trade relations between Nigeria and Britain. This was made known when some of the Chamber's executives made a courtesy visit to PlusTvAfrica in Lagos. Our correspondent Ngozika Ohachisi tells us more.
The visit of executives of the Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce, NBCC, to PlusTvAfrica is targeted at establishing and fostering a beneficial relationship between the NBCC and the organization.
The Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce is the foremost bilateral chamber of commerce in Nigeria. We have a membership base of over 450 members, and they're drawn from the various sectors of the Nigerian economy. It will be a pleasure to have PlusTV join us as a member.
The advocacy committee is involved with providing membership a voice to actually air and articulate their company objectives, vision, and involvement in the socio-economics of the environment.
Responding to the question on the effects of the Russia-Ukraine conflict on economies, the chairperson of the NBCC Advocacy Committee, Annie Rooney, fears the results could be devastating globally, and Nigeria is not an exception.
Personal view is that it's a crisis that is needless. From an impact as far as business is concerned, sanctions obviously will hit all countries, in particular Russia is affected. The impact of the sanctions will naturally hit Ukraine, and we just hope and pray that there can be a peace truce where dialogue can prevail and the appropriate issues can be addressed such that the business impact is not as magnified as it currently is.
She, however, challenges the government to vigorously engage the youth in business development.
The youth, we describe them as the next generation. They are already influencing change in both the social and the economic aspects of Nigeria. They play a great role, from politics all the way through to the business economical cycle of things. They have a voice that needs to be listened to. I believe that we need to begin to guide the youth in the in the right direction. They're playing critical roles in business, particularly in fintech industry, in technology and innovation, and in the digital world. And we see that great influence coming to bear in productivity, particularly across the business forum.
To this end, the Chamber is carrying out various activities to improve the trade and commerce between Nigeria and Britain. Ngozika Ohaichesi, Plus TV News.
Lagos State government has promised to continue to provide more grants to teeming youths and reduce unemployment in strategies, collective action, and prosperity for all.
Seated here are various industry players, stakeholders drawn from different sectors of the economy. They are brainstorming on how to achieve sustainable job creation strategies and social solutions to unemployment problems in Lagos State. With an unemployment rate standing at 37.3%, the summit may just be to the rescue.
It was one of our strong, campaign promise that the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund will come out bigger, bolder, and stronger. And I'm going to assure you that given the scorecards that we've seen, in less than 5 years, they've had direct interventions to over 200,000 citizens. But we know that, funding is also one of the things that had been the impact, that has helped you, and to date, I think we have committed over 10 billion, to the fund and want to also do more.
Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Sam Egube, is hopeful that the summit will generate quality employment output and change the narratives.
So this conference is targeted at addressing the employment levels in the state through bridging the gap between job availability and employability in the labor market.
Delivering their keynote addresses, guest speakers commended the initiatives of the Lagos State government on wealth and employment creation for its population. They called on the state government to increase investments in youths in order to enhance and create opportunities for all.
The time to invest in our youth is right now. As policymakers, you all have a key role to play in helping our youths in their life journey.
Lagos State's commitment is visible in this employment summit today and underscores the high commitment of Lagos to bring those relevant in the employment sphere together and actively seek solutions.
Chairman, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, Bola Adeshola, also thanked stakeholders for demonstrating commitment towards tackling unemployment in the state.
These achievements of the fund within just 5 years have made it a model across the country, and we've seen other states create similar agencies to ensure that employment and entrepreneurship opportunities are created for their youth.
Executive Secretary, LSATF, Tejumola Abisoye, who highlighted the achievements of the funds in the last 5 years, called on public and private stakeholders to actively collaborate, design and develop resilient policies and strategies for job creation. From Lagos, Love Ikuku Oyedokun, Plus TV News.
And still ahead, Libya crisis worsens as rival government takes oath. Details when we return.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment on winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
You're welcome back. Former International Criminal Court ICC Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda has been appointed to lead the UN Commission of Inquiry into alleged human rights violations by all parties in the conflict in Ethiopia. In a statement issued in Geneva, the President of the Human Rights Council, Federico Villegas of Argentina, announced the appointment of the Gambian as well as two other experts, Kari Betty Marungi, a lawyer at the High Court of Kenya, and American Stephen Ratner, a law professor who will join the newly created commission. Fatou Bensouda was the ICC's chief prosecutor from June 2012 to June 2021. Hundreds of doctors and health workers have staged a rally in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, to protest violence by security forces at healthcare facilities. The protests had participants. Mohammed Hamdan Dagalu Mitti has discussed cooperation with Russian officials on national security and political issues. Mitti held a press conference at Khartoum Airport after his 8-day visit to the Russian capital, Moscow. He said that meetings were held with many officials in Russia and discussions focused on all issues between the two countries, especially politics and the economy. A standoff between two rival governments in Libya has worsened with the risk of fighting. The parliament in the east swore in a new administration while the incumbent in Tripoli refused to cede power. Addressing the parliament after taking the oath of office, Fathi Bashaga said he was studying all options to take over in Tripoli. Meanwhile, the present Prime Minister, Abdulhamid al-Beba, had said he won't hand over control. Armed groups affiliated with both sides have mobilized in the capital, and foreign forces, including from Turkey and Russia, remain entrenched in Libya nearly 18 months after a ceasefire ended the last major bout of warfare. Mozambican President Felipe Nyusi has sacked his prime minister in a major cabinet reshuffle amidst the political fallout from damning testimony in an ongoing corruption trial. Prime Minister Carlos Agostinho do Rosario had held the post since the start of Nyusi's presidency in 2015, but was sacked alongside 6 other ministers, including 4 holding key portfolios of finance, mineral resources, industry and public works. Watchers say the reshuffle seemed clearly intended to stem the political damage caused by the ongoing trial of 19 senior officials in a $2 billion corruption scandal that has plunged the country's economy into crisis. Outside Africa, President Vladimir Putin has said that Russia's military operations in Ukraine were going according to plan. He also praised his soldiers as heroes. Putin's televised comments seemed designed to rebuff statements by Western governments and intelligence agencies that Russia's campaign has stumbled in the face of logistical problems, tactical mistakes, and fiercer than expected resistance from Ukraine. He reaffirmed his stated rationale for the war, which Ukraine and the West have rejected as a baseless propaganda. The United Kingdom, European Union, and the United States have urged the Human Rights Council to establish a commission of inquiry to investigate violations committed by Russia in Ukraine. UK Ambassador to the UN in Geneva, Simon Manley, told the UN Forum that it is unconscionable to think that a fellow member of the Council, a nation that fought so courageously to defeat fascism, would commit such egregious violations. Those were the ambassador's words. But France's Ambassador Jerome Bonafont, speaking for the EU, said President Putin has proved he has no respect for human rights.
Unconscionable to think that a fellow member of this council, a nation that fought so courageously with us to defeat fascism, would commit these egregious violations. But President Putin has proved he has no respect for human rights, the UN Charter, or international law. That is why it is essential that this Council establishes a commission of inquiry to investigate alleged abuses and violations of human rights and violations of international humanitarian law, to preserve evidence and prevent impunity.
Today, all of us here have a choice: stand up and be counted, or act like none of this matters while the people of Ukraine suffer. The Human Rights Council must send a clear, unmistakable message. Not only has Russia's invasion of Ukraine trampled the core principles on which the UN was created, but Russia's actions, which are causing death, displacement, and violence against innocent civilians, are abuses of human rights and violations of international humanitarian law. The United States calls on all HRC member states to stand with Ukraine and vote yes on the resolution.
Up next, Nigeria's foreign reserves falls to $39.9 billion in February amid row. That's in business news after the short break.
Welcome to Business Reports. I am Justin Akadonye. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, says it will deliver over 1.7 billion litres of PMS on marine and on land as the fuel scarcity persists across the nation. It also said that it had no plans to adjust the current price of PMS in the market. The Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Malam Melikari, gave the assurance in a joint briefing with Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, and the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, at the NNPC TARS in Abuja. Now, the GMD noted that the security agencies, to ensure that all products loaded got to the right destination, adding that sanction will be meted out to any operator selling above the stipulated pump price. Now, Nigeria's foreign reserve dropped to $39.86 billion as of the yearly drop in the country's reserve level, despite increase in crude oil prices and the invasion on Ukraine by a major crude oil producer, Russia. Meanwhile, the reserve level has continued a downtrend, largely due to FX market intervention by the Apex Bank in a bid to ensure stability of the local currency. This implies that the central bank sells FX in the official market at a conservative rate to manage the volatility in the currency. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine rages and with the global sanction on the Kremlin's crude oil, the price of the Brent crude has hit an all-time high of $112 per barrel, just as the WTI hit $110.67 per barrel. Despite that, the sanctions against Russia carved out energy and energy payments out of the SWIFT restrictions and bans, Russian producers cannot sell their cargoes in tenders because no one is bidding, while many refiners, especially in Europe, are shunning Russian crude and scrambling for alternatives. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Russian cargoes have become toxic for most traders, insurers, and tanker owners. Although the sanctions do not target energy export, some refiners and traders are uncertain how the bank credits would work. Others are staying away to avoid reputational damage. Now, the global oil market is starting to see disruption in Russian supply, which could send oil prices as high as $150 per barrel. And that's the business update. I am Justin Akadonye. Many thanks for watching.
And it's time for some entertainment news. Take a look.
Streaming giant Netflix has announced it has paused all future projects and acquisitions from Russia. The company said it was assessing the impact of the current invasion of Ukraine. Filming for the production of Russian-language series Zato will be halted. Elsewhere in tech, cloud computing company Oracle also said it has suspended operations in Russia. The two companies are the latest U.S. technology firms to take action against Russia as attacks on Ukraine cities have escalated. Nigerian music star Timaya has been arrested hours after he was accused of almost killing a young lady. An Instagram user, Oshinubi Omowumi, a few minutes later, it was whisked away by the armed police officers. Omowumi accused the music star of causing severe injuries to her sister. American actress Julia Fox has revealed that a 6-week relationship with rapper Kanye West was the best thing that happened to her, explaining that it brought back a spark into her life. Fox's comments are coming weeks after she revealed that she was never in love with the billionaire rapper. The billionaire rapper and Fox started dating in January 2022.
The best in sports is next with Mikhail Tinubu.
Hello and welcome to Sports News on Plus TV Africa. On a tree-lined, unpaved road in Somalia's capital, people duck out of their homes to stare in awe at an unusual sight. Two young men atop white horses racing neck and neck in training for what would be the city's first horse races in decades. Slowly improving security has fueled demand for sports and leisure activities, and horse riding has proved a hit. Watching the training, mother of 5, Abshira Mohammed, said she was happy to see an activity that inspired young people and entertained parents like her. Yayi Isse, 29, established his stable to offer riding lessons to the public and to eventually host competitions. In Pierre Barre, who was toppled in 1991, only police were taught horseback riding, but the new stable, which operates out of the Mogadishu Stadium and is home to 14 horses, has attracted dozens of young Somalis who over Caleb Plant and will fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend, a big holiday in the Mexican calendar, with promoter Eddie Hearn asking the questions on the podium. Alvarez's feelings on facing a Russian fighter, given the current invasion of Ukraine, were not discussed. Bivol fights under the Russian flag, having been born in Kyrgyzstan.
I like challenge. I'm that's made me feel alive, challenge for me and everything in my life. So I like it, really good challenge, and now I have a very good fighter in front, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this fight. Yeah, he's a really tough fighter, and it's gonna be a really good fight for Cinco de Mayo weekend with my people in Las Vegas, Mexican weekend. I'm really excited, and I'm gonna prepare myself really good because this fight is gonna be really hard.
And when I come to the ring, I believe in my victory, and I'm looking forward May 7.
In NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks staged an impressive fourth quarter fight back to complete a dramatic 120-119 victory over the Miami.
Looking at the monitor. Had to fight his way through. Final few seconds, 4 to play. Drew leading in, higher. Oh yeah. Bucks take the lead. Snatching a victory out of the jaws of defeat. Gets away. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Comeback complete! Holiday!
And that's all the sports news we have for you for now. Join us next time. My name is Makayo Tinubu. Have a good night.
At Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I'm Loretta Chiogo. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful night rest.
Okay, what's going on to every single person out there from the east, west, north, and the south? How you doing, Lagos, Nigeria, and beyond, wherever it is you're feeling us from? You're welcome to Plus TV. Yeah, you are welcome to Plus TV, and you're welcome to Tea Time, where we sip our tea and mind our business. All right, my name is Miles, the 8th one of the world, and anything that has to do with entertainment as a whole, we have it locked down here. If you put it out there, if you spill it, we will pick it up. I will talk about it, right? But the good thing about this is I never get to be in trouble alone. I'm not the only person who talks about it. I'll just have people backing me up and doing this. I will talk about it together. So if anybody goofs, you know our handles. You can also get our home addresses and look for us. All right. Now, one of my main people is back in the building. I miss him so much. That sounds wrong, but I really don't care, right? Stevie Nater is here in the building. How you doing, man? It's good to have you. It's good to have you again.
Good to be back. But I never left. I've been around.
I was Akon and Whitney singing. I never left. Cool. Yeah. And I have Kofoshi.
Why did you stutter on my name?
And I have another person in the building, a woman of steel, timber and caliber, sex appeal and all that chill. She's really cool and all that. A bag of chips and much more. Kofoshi in the building. How about that?
Why is there a bag of chips and that I?
It's a thing for people who are all that and much more.
All that and much
bag
more.
Of chips.
Anyways, but you did Ojoro. You're always inviting me first. So why are you inviting?
I want to keep the best for
you
the
guys, I miss Steve. And Steve is back on it. And I'm so hyper this morning.
This is making me feel like I should go again and come back.
And I said, we have to see what's